This week is packed with big news coming out of the US and other countries that could either pump or dump Bitcoin. Has another crypto project rugged, and a circle about to bring crypto to the masses. This is your Altcoin Buzz News. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Cody, and if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when we drop latest content. Follow us on Twitter, Altcoin Buzz IO, and as always, not financial advice, and wish you the best of luck in your crypto ventures. All right, good morning, you guys. So Bitcoin has had a slight pump yesterday on Sunday, which is not ideal because it was a Sunday pump, and usually those get reversed. But we have come up into this level of resistance here around $107,000. Kind of what we thought might happen is where we come back up here. I think it's possible we could have a retrace, even if it is just slightly today on New York Open after this pump into resistance. We didn't get that kind of news we were expecting, where usually there's some kind of missile strike in the Middle East on like a Thursday or Friday, and then a lot of times over the weekend in a liquid market there's another big headline that will come out and it'll dump the market a lot further. We didn't have that this time. We didn't have another like second dump yet, so we are still waiting to see what happens. Now I will say it is possible we come back down here, we just consolidate for a little bit longer, and then eventually we continue upwards. I do think we are going to new all-time highs in the near future. Once just this war news just kind of subsides, I do think we are going to new all-time highs soon. I think it is possible though we just get a pullback on New York Open today, Monday morning, and then maybe we consolidate here for another couple of days before heading higher. Hopefully we don't continue back down to these lows, because if we continue back down, if we go down towards $102,000, it's not looking too good, and something greater than the risk of war that we've already had will be priced in, because these were the war lows here at $102,000. So we really don't want to be heading down towards these levels again. We really want to be consolidating here, and ideally we want to break above this level. We want to break above 107,000, then head higher. At the very least, we want to reclaim this level around $107,000. So we have a lot of big things happening this week. We have retail sales, we have jobless claims, we have housing data, we have the Fed's decision on the rate cuts. All in 1 week, volatility is coming. At the same time, Nick says everyone is focused on the Middle East, but big news is coming out of Japan tomorrow. If the Bank of Japan delays quantitative tightening and kicks in quantitative easing, risk assets will rip, Bitcoin will rocket. Set your clocks for 3 a.m. GMT on Tuesday. So the Bank of Japan, which has a pretty big effect on the markets as well, if they go into QE and start printing money, then that'll help risk assets as well. Then we have Vietnam legalizes digital assets by passing the digital technology law, which takes effect on January 1st, 2026. So Vietnam is also getting into crypto. I know Thailand is also getting, heavily into crypto as well. So a lot of countries, especially out in Asia, are starting to get more into crypto and start passing digital asset laws. And we also have Global M2 is pointing to a 160K Bitcoin target by year end. We've seen this play out before. In 2017, Bitcoin followed a wave of global liquidity to 20K. In 2020 to 21, it tracked the M2 expansion all the way to 69,000. History doesn't repeat, but liquidity rhymes. So based on global M2 money supply as well as gold, we are seeing a potential target towards $160,000 by year end, according to Bitcoin News. We also have BlackRock's Bybit has not seen outflows for 30 straight days. So they now own 3.3% of all Bitcoin for $71 billion worth of Bitcoin. So the institutional inflows have been nonstop over the past month for Bitcoin, especially ETH as well. But seeing no outflows for 30 straight days on BlackRock's ETF is wild. At the same time, Metaplanet now holds over 10,000 Bitcoin, overtaking Coinbase Global. The Japanese firm eyes 210,000 Bitcoin by 2027, so they want to buy an additional 200,000 Bitcoin. Just look at that. We have 10,000. They want to buy an additional 200,000 Bitcoin by 2027. That's 1% of Bitcoin's total supply, backed by $5.4 billion equity push. They're going full throttle into Bitcoin. So the Japanese version of a MicroStrategy, Metaplanet, is going hard into Bitcoin as well. It's midway through 2025, so by 2027 they want to add an additional 200,000 Bitcoin to their balance sheet. Will they be able to get it by with $5.4 billion? Most likely not. They're gonna have to start raising more money as well. But that is pretty insane that they have this target for 2027. Then moving on, we have the big news of Base, which is pay with crypto. So millions of Shopify stores are now about to accept USDC on Base. Pay with USDC to get 1% back. The on-chain internet just got its checkout button. So we are starting to see mass adoption coming now with Coinbase and Shopify, merging together to use USDC on Base. So Toby Luckey, who is the Shopify CEO, says Shopify will enable USDC stablecoins on Base in checkout via Shopify Payments and Shop Pay. Early access starts today, roll out throughout the year. We think that stablecoins are a natural way to transact on the internet and worked with Coinbase to develop the commerce payment protocol smart contract that powers this work. So, USDC and Shopify are now starting to come to, the masses. And we also have MetaMask saying, wow, Shopify is beginning to enable USDC payments for millions of merchants so you can pay directly via MetaMask, powered by Coinbase and running on Base. So if you go to Shopify, you can pay with MetaMask using, USDC on Base and Coinbase as well. So, and if even 0.1% of Shopify's estimated $235 billion of annual GMV shifts to USDC on Base, that's $235 million in on-chain volume. That's 2 orders of magnitude above today's pilot figures. With provably cheaper fees, programmable money, and global reach, Base could push stablecoins to a default payment option for mainstream e-commerce and broader real-world asset settlement. So I think this will be huge for getting people used to stablecoins and just crypto in general, because a lot of the retail has stayed out so far this cycle because of what happened last cycle. And I think once we start to kind of integrate it a lot more easily, like using USDC and making things a lot more easy for the mainstream like retail to get interested in, I think this will definitely help push it and kind of become more integrated into everyone's daily lives. And then moving on to the biggest news of the weekend, we have Polyhedra's ZKJ plunges 80% after abnormal on-chain activity on the pair that the team is investigating. So apparently, it's not confirmed yet. This is all speculation if it was a rug, but a lot of people are saying this was a rug. So we have a thread here saying, let's break down how the team rugged $40 million plus from the market using shady liquidity games, market maker manipulation, and stealth dumps. So we think it's a rug, but it's not fully confirmed yet if it is. But basically saying, TLDR, Polyhedra team dumped $40 million plus worth of tokens, likely pocketing $10 to $15 million by pulling liquidity and selling into artificially popped up markets. So let's rewind a bit. For 1 month before the dump, ZKJ traded like a stablecoin. Huge buy and sell walls set by a market maker made price impact minimal. Even a $1 million market buy wouldn't move the chart. Normies started farming Binance Alpha points via ZKJ, and volume exploded. Market makers see the liquidity frenzy, the team moves in, they executed the dump in stages across multiple wallets. Here's how it unfolded. Phase 1, this wallet removed $3.7 million worth of Coj and $537K in ZKJ from the liquidity pool. They swapped $3 million worth of Coj into ZKJ, then dumped $1.5 million of ZKJ into the market for USDT and BNB. The price started to slip, but that's just beginning. Phase 2, another team-controlled wallet pulled $2 million in Coj and $2.2 million in ZKJ from the liquidity pool, swapped all Coj into ZKJ for $2 million worth, then market dumped 1 million ZKJ tokens at $1.9. So why does Coj matter? The ZKJ Coj pool held over $30 million in liquidity, but Coj had weak support elsewhere. Coj BNB was shallow. So when they rugged Coj, it nuked ZKJ with it, and chain reaction and price implosion. Meanwhile, this one wallet kept relentlessly dumping ZKJ into the order book. No breaks, no chill, just infinite sell button. An important note, this wasn't the market maker's fault. Most likely the team forced the market makers to pull walls, pulled liquidity, opened shorts, and then dumped into their own exit liquidity. Classic coordination, slow rug disguised as price action. The timeline matters. Binance lists ZKJ perps. Exactly 1 month later, team executes coordinated exit. As usual, Binance becomes exit liquidity for insiders. In conclusion, this wasn't a random crash. It was a well-planned, team-led dump with $40 million plus in volume flowing out of liquidity pools and into their wallets. Normies thought they were farming. It turns out they were farmed. So that was ZKJ over the weekend. And this is the chart, another rug-looking chart. It's not fully confirmed if it was, but I mean, the chart doesn't look great either way. We're up 25% on the day after minus 90% over the weekend. So, I mean, overall, there's nothing to really do here. You don't want to really buy this. Any pumps, I'm sure, are going to get sold into by anyone who is still holding. So you probably don't want to buy this. You don't want to sell this because you don't know if there's, people waiting to sell their coins as soon as any kind of pump comes from this. So that is DKJ and the supposed rug pull over the weekend. And then we have Bybit, who has just announced ByReal, an on-chain DEX powered by Solana, to be live by the end of the month. So Ben Zhao from Bybit said, announcing ByReal, our first on-chain DEX incubated by Bybit, will be live by the end of the month and starting from scratch and now born on Solana. What's special is it's a centralized exchange and a decentralized exchange synergy. ByReal isn't just another DEX, it's combining centralized exchange-grade liquidity with DeFi native transparency. So that seems to be the kind of go-to meta these days, is combining DEX and SEX together, for people who want both. We also have ByReal saying it's official. ByReal is here, incubated by Bybit official, born on Solana. ByReal is a new on-chain liquidity network for the next wave of assets. where real value is listed, discovered, and traded transparently. And we also have Solana Flora saying Meme Strategy, a publicly listed company on the Hong Kong exchange, which is kind of crazy. There's a company named Meme Strategy, has acquired 2,440 SOL, worth $2.9 million of Hong Kong dollars, become the first HK-listed firm to invest in the Solana ecosystem. Their stock is up 20% following this announcement. So the fact that they're called Meme Strategy, kind of like MicroStrategy, is kind of wild. So it seems like this is the complete new meta where either you buy Solana, you buy Ethereum, you buy Bitcoin, you put it on your balance sheet if you're a publicly traded company, and your stock surges. So we have, what MetaPlanet, we have MicroStrategy, we have, all these companies starting to do this. And so now Meme Strategy doing it in Hong Kong. Now, Solana hasn't been as strong as Bitcoin has over the past few days. Bitcoin, I think is probably up here in relative terms, and Solana is kind of down here. Now, there is supposed to be a Solana ETF news coming out soon, so I'm kind of surprised Solana hasn't surged more than it is right now. If Bitcoin heads lower, I expect Solana probably to sell off as well, back down to this level of support. And if we can hold above 134, that's where I'd like to take a long, because that's probably a pretty good area to bid, because if we break below that, then we're going much lower. But I don't expect us to break below that. So if we can get any bids between 143 and somewhere around 135, that is probably a pretty good area for us to bid right here on Solana. Any pullback into here is looking pretty good. But yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't been as strong. There's been much stronger assets than Solana recently, so you're going to want to be a little bit more patient with this one. And then moving on, we have Avalanche daily transactions have peaked since February 2024. Since June 1st, Avax has seen a consistent rise in activity, often nearing and surpassing 1 million daily transactions. Gaming remains among the key growth drivers on Avalanche, with MapleStory Universe fueling consistent engagement. New traction is also coming from Shopify, notably the Arena app, where users create and trade meme coins. We also have Nicholas saying Avalanche hits a new all-time high, 171 average transactions per second across all layer 1s, and still climbing. Not just the C chain, it's an execution layer powering sovereign, composable, parallel layer 1s at scale, while others talk scaling, Avalanche executes. And Avalanche and the Altcoin Foundation have joined forces to supercharge layer 1s with decentralized data storage. Think a high-speed execution backed by secure, scalable, and tamper-proof storage. Avalanche also recently announced that VanEck US is launching Purpose-Built, a dedicated fund to back rolled asset applications on Avalanche. This is a major signal of institutional conviction in Avalanche and the broader move into GDP on-chain. And lastly for Avalanche, we have BitConsensus saying huge opportunity on Avax. Avalanche is completely crushing in the crypto gaming industry, a new partnership with FIFA, off-the-grid AAA game built on Avalanche, top 9 chain by DeFi TVL, on-chain funds, and adoption for RWAs. Now, Avalanche is one that we drew this out weeks ago, and we still wanted to see this hold. Now, we haven't reclaimed this level at $22.70. We really want to wait for it to reclaim this level because there's nothing to do too much here. We keep falling below this level, and so we really just want to wait for it to reclaim this level for us to then head back towards $27. This was the level that I really wanted to get into at $27 because there's a huge gap here, and it would quickly move from $27 all the way up to $35 once it does reclaim this level. So this was like my perfect entry if we somehow got above here. But because we've been struggling to reclaim it, we're going to have to wait a little bit, and we're going to have to wait for it to reclaim $22.70 first, then back to this level here. And once we get about above $27, it's going towards $35 pretty quickly. We just really need the whole market to come together and Avalanche to, finally reclaim this level. But nothing too much to do right now as we just kind of struggle and chop around down below $20. And then lastly for today, we have Enso gears up for a $5 million community funding round on CoinList, offering 4% of the total token supply. So provider blockchain shortcuts Enso has announced its community funding round on the token issuance platform CoinList. 4% of the project's total supply of 100 million Enso tokens will be offered to the public in a $5 million round. Enso has created a fast solution for building and deploying on-chain applications by integrating various blockchain frameworks into a single unified network. Supported by prominent Web3 venture capital firms such as Polychain Capital, Multicoin Capital, Spartan, Dialect, Cyberfund, and IDO Ventures, the platform allows developers to access, write, and interact with smart contracts across multiple chains going through one integration point. The community round will be launched on CoinList on June 12th at 5 p.m. UTC and conclude on June 19th at 5 p.m. UTC, which is in 3 days from now. The event provides the community members the chance to acquire Enso tokens at a fully diluted valuation of $125 million, which is lower than a previous VC round, and offers participants a more favorable entry term. The round is designed to support the decentralization of Enso's protocol by enabling a wide range of users to participate. So as Enso listing on CoinList soon, and that is the video for today, guys. As we come into New York Open today, we are continuing to pump. We really want to see us, pump above this level and start to reclaim it. So we want to see something like this, 108,000, come down and reclaim, hold above $107,000, and then something like that, then we can head at least back towards $110,000. But what we don't want to see today is we really don't want to see us break down below this level that we consolidated over the weekend. So we really don't want to break down below $104,000, because then most likely we'll head back down towards $100,000, and that won't really be a good look for the summer. So we want to break above this. We want to hold this level, and we want to continue bullish so that we can continue to new all-time highs and have a bullish summer versus a very choppy and kind of boring summer. So that's the video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow.